All right, let's get started. Hello, everyone. Nice of you to take your time on this hot day in Berlin to join the online webinar on how to create engaging online sessions. I hope this session of me also is going to be engaging and activating you. My name is Bjørn. I'm a theater maker and a director, and I use theater techniques to also help people on stages beside the theater to deliver a clear message, to tell their story, to convince others of their ideas. So the techniques we use in the theater are very helpful also in giving presentations, in communicating, in meetings, in one-on-one conversations, actually all kinds of communication where you can use these skills we also use in the theater in the real world. Yeah, because it's also about, like, actors, they get a text, but the text doesn't say anything if you don't fill it with meaning, fill it with purpose, fill it with a goal, with a mission. And it's the same in presentations. A lot of time people prepare a presentation or prepare a meeting only based on the facts, on the content, but the actual meaning, what you want to approach with, what you want to say with it, goes a bit to the background. And that's what my job is, to push that forward, to activate people and share their opinion, give their view on things, and convince others. The webinar today is focused on how to do this in an online setting. Yeah, because it is, we all are many times in Zoom, like we're now, or Zoom or Teams or Google Meets or whatever tool you're using. So in the digital world, we communicate, and it has some extra challenges in your communication, but also possibilities. And that's what I want to look into with you in this 1 hour together. The session is being recorded, but that's mainly for my own purposes, to look back at it. And sometimes I can, oh, you mean there was a naked man running behind you. Sorry, I quickly was distracted. One thing about online sessions, that you're in a private space. Okay, sorry. Just when I was talking about it being recorded. So no, it can be used to, sometimes people that wanted to attend the webinar but weren't able to join, they get this recording, or and I sometimes also use it to send to potential clients to show how I work, what I do, but it won't be published online or something, right? So that you know that. Okay, so today's webinar, it will be partially me giving my view on things, but also there's a few exercises. So if you are able to join in and be active in those moments of exercises, that's really cool. If not, it's also cool. You can just sit back and relax and join the round passively. My main topic of today is how to activate yourself as a communicator online, but also how to activate your audience in your communication. And first, I would like to talk about this activating yourself. For example, now I chose to stand up during my presentation online. This is what we offline often do, but somehow online, we tend to, I don't know, lean a bit forward, you know, sit on our desk, sit on a chair, and you hear it already in my voice. I speak with you now, but I'm much less active, and it's much harder for me to show that I have something to say that I care about, because my body is in a non-active position, right? So choosing a setting where you have an active body position is essential if you want to activate yourself. And you immediately hear it. As soon as I stand up, my voice changes. I'm able to emphasize what I'm saying, and it creates another activity. Yeah, and this might think, okay, but it's online, people only listen to me, they don't see me that much. But the activity also goes towards how you say things, and also goes towards how people perceive things. So it's really important to, although it might be online that you're communicating, you still have an active body position. What you may also see me doing is my hands. Yeah, although they might not be in the frame, you hear it when I use my hands. So I use my hands to emphasize what is important in my sentence. And by doing this, it changes the way I speak. And it changes the way you perceive what I say, because I emphasize what is important. Hand gestures do this. They're not, so when I show my hands, they can also illustrate things. I can say, I'm making a summary. I'm going for 1, 2, 3. So that's what hand gestures are good for. But also, even though you might not see my hands, you hear it when I speak. Yeah, you hear when I emphasize. So activity in the body, activity in the hands. That really, really helps when you want to focus on speaking online. And if you're able to stand up, do it. Yeah, that's would really be my advice. If not, it is good to sit a bit more in the front of your chair and have a straight back. I say now, for example, Janine, you are leaning on your desk, which is completely logical because you're just listening now to me. But as you hear already on my voice, now it's hard to be actively communicating. So as soon as you communicate, try to have a straight back and use the hand gestures to activate. In my trainings on site, I often work with making eye contact with your audience. Because when you speak to individuals, you focus on your delivery. Yeah, you focus on, hey, I'm speaking to people, I'm speaking to someone. I'm not just spreading the news generally to everyone. No, I'm speaking to individuals. This is a big challenge online because when I look at the people on my screen, and now I'm looking at Matt, for example, I'm not looking at the camera anymore. Yeah, so although I might have the feeling I'm addressing Matt, Matt does not have the feeling I'm addressing him because I need to look into the camera to be able to address you. And this is something very unnatural with presenting online. So you need to be aware that when you speak to your audience, you need to speak to the camera. The hard thing is, then it's hard to receive feedback from the people that look at you, right? Are they listening? Are they following me? Usually when we have eye contact with people, people nod a little bit, they respond to what I'm saying. Online, that's different. People don't feel the need to look at me when I speak. And you might have the feeling that they're not listening to me. Yeah, for example, Daria is making notes. Is she making notes about what I'm saying? Or is she doing something completely different? Is she making a list of what shopping she wants to do later on? I don't know. Yeah, I can get very insecure about this. But this is because our behavior as listeners online is different than our behavior when it's in a live situation. Then we tend to be much more polite and pleasant and show that we listen, we nod, we accept. This is good to remember that although people might look away, they can be listening very carefully to what you say. Yeah, so don't get too much distracted by that and communicate into the camera. If you still want to see people's faces, what I do is I put the people that I'm speaking to very close to my camera so that when I look to the people beneath, it still feels as if I'm looking, making eye contact because I'm looking into the camera. Right? And if you have them, for example, if I would now, I put you down on my screen, now I'm talking to you, but I'm not looking at you in the camera right now because you are not close enough to my camera. Now I've pulled you up towards my camera and it feels as if I'm speaking to you. Unnatural thing, yeah, to look into people's eyes, although you're looking into the camera and you're not. But this is good to be aware of. I'm addressing you, so I need to look into the camera. So activate body, hand gestures, have an active body position, look into the camera as eye contact. For that, you need the right setup. And how am I going to show this to you right now? I haven't thought about this. I'm taking my camera. So this is my screen where you are on. I have a bigger screen. And there's two big lights on the side of my screen. And I have a microphone. I would recommend working with this kind of setup instead of just your laptop. Because if you work just with your laptop, I can sorry. If I use my laptop's camera, we tend to look down, yeah, because it's lower. So now I'm looking down on you. This gives another impression of how I speak with you than when I speak with you on eye level. So when I switch cameras again to the camera above my big screen, now I'm really standing up and speaking towards you in front of you. This creates much more freedom for me to move. Yeah. And then I can start using the frame that I have to deliver my messages. Often in my on-site workshops, I work with people separating their message by positioning themselves on stage. Yeah, for example, I start speaking here about the first chapter, that it's very important to have an active body position. And then I move towards chapter 2, where I say it's also important to have the right setup. And by separating these two messages visually on stage, this is very helpful for the audience. This is also a bit harder online because you only have this frame setting, but still I can, if I have this setup that I have a bit more freedom, I can zoom out, for example, say, hey, if we look at this from a wider perspective, or let's look closer into this. Then we have chapter 1, 2, 3. So I have my stage here, which I can use. And this is good to be aware of, because often we think it's only this, it's only my face. It's my face expression, that's what I have. I talk, but there's space around it, which you can use to really actively separate your messages and visually speak and create more active in the vision. So that's a lot of talk from my side on how to activate, but I think it's important to be aware of that you can use this setting in a more active way than what we're used to. I think most of you so far have seen online presentations or online meetings where everybody is sitting, leaning back, you know, but actually we don't use this visual part that much. But if you start using it, you will see people perceive much more on what you have to say, and they can easily follow you step by step and don't get distracted that much. What is the most important though, if you want to be active in your message, is that you know why you say what you say. Doesn't matter if you're communicating online, offline, in what setting you are, you need to know, why am I actually communicating what I'm communicating? Why do I find this interesting? And usually when we meet in real life, it is easier for us to show emotions, to become a bit more emotional. We do that with body language. We do that with hand gesture, facial expression, intonation in the voice. Somehow online, this disappears a bit to the background. We become more passive in showing our emotions. We show that it matters. And this is why online meetings are often a bit more boring than on-site meeting, because we tend to lose the emotional connection in what we do. You need to work a bit harder when you communicate online on showing that what you have to say, that it matters. Yeah, let it matter. Show that you care. Tell us, why are you sharing this? Why do you find this interesting? And why do you think this is interesting to your audience? That is the key to have active communication in everything. So when you prepare for a meeting or for a speech, don't just prepare what you're gonna say, but with every fact that you're sharing, think, why? Why am I sharing this? What do I want to say with this actually? What is the message behind this? Why do I find this important? And why do I think this is important to my audience? And showing this importance is the key in giving vibrant presentations. Not only online, also offline, everywhere. But online, you need to work a bit harder for it, because we tend to be a bit more passive, also as an audience. Showing that you care is more vulnerable. Yeah, being cool about it. Yeah, it's just this. I had a little idea. It could be interesting, could be not. Is safer than saying, I have this idea. I think it's going to be great. You should listen to this. It's much more scary, because what if, it's not so good, or what if people are saying, what if not? But letting it matter, showing that you care, is the key in clear communication. Telling us why you share this, why you're telling this, why should we listen to this? That's really very important for everything. So that should be the basis in all your preparation in all your communication. And as said, online, you need to even work harder to show this. Okay, that about activating yourself as a presenter. Another important thing, or a cool tool to use, is activating your imagination, or activating your audience's imagination by using storytelling. And therefore, I want to do a little exercise with you. And I want to ask actually everybody that is able to turn on their cameras, because we're going to become a bit more active ourselves. So that would be great. Let's see. Nice. Thank you. Hello, Francis. Thank you, Celios. Great. If it's not possible, it's also fine. No worries, right? It's if you know I don't know in what setting you are to listen to this, but we're gonna do a little exercise and build towards storytelling and how stories can be very cool tools to activate yourself, but also activate your audience. Even online. And I'm first going to start with a small assignment. If everybody could, we're going to do a little game. Yeah, you have to be as fast as you can to pull up something in front of your camera that has the color green. Something green in front of your camera. Ah, Nancy was first. Ike, I'm sorry, it's blending. It's not working. Oh, you're off. Very good. Ah, that's a nice green postcard. Very green. Cool. Super. Okay, now pull up something red. Red tea. Very good. What is that, Daria? I cannot see it.
I don't know. It's something from 3D printing.
Nice. Very good. And a red pen. Cool. Really cool. Now pull up something in front of the camera that you have bought for yourself. The latest thing you've bought for yourself. A pen, something to drink, very important. Ike, what is that?
Hang on. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, yeah, that's actually a smart home light switch that you can put between, or that you can control with the switch on the wall and with your.
And why did you decide to buy that for yourself?
Because I just moved, and I do want to turn on and off my exterior lights with this one. So basically, this is the reason.
Really cool. Okay,
I don't
nice.
want to go to my terrace.
Very good. Okay. One more action task. Now pull up something in front of the camera that someone has bought for you, that you got as a gift. Josie, can you tell us a little bit about the doll you got?
I got this from my brother. I just moved to Berlin and we share this Harry Potter. So.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry. Can you please say that again?
I just moved to Berlin and my brother got me this as a gift to come here. We share this love for Harry Potter, so I got
nice. Do you remember the moment where he gave it to you?
Yeah, just when I came into the house for the first time.
And how did you feel when you got the present?
I like that someone was really thinking of me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Really cool. Okay, why this exercise? One is to show you, hey, you can actually do things in Zoom. You can activate people. You can get them involved with little activities, little games. But then I asked questions, right? So I had an object and I asked him, why did you buy it for yourself? And then he told me he just moved, right? So this is actual information that is connected to much more to the meaning of something than just, oh yeah, this is a light switch. Yeah, we don't get interested. But then he tells, I'm just moved. I have a new apartment. Now it gets to be interesting. Josie shared even an emotional connection with her brother. So we learned something about her. She took us to that moment where she got it and that she felt, she even started showing body activity, showing facial expression, showing emotion. That's where we get interested. That's why we want to know more. And this is important to remember. When you share facts, think, can I also share a little story, a little anecdote, an example to this fact, what actually shows the meaning of it? We're going to practice that with our morning routine. We're going to create a story in 3 rounds. And we're going to do that simultaneously. So you're all going to, it's going to be a bit noisy. You're all going to put on your microphone and have 1 minute to share your morning routine with us. Just what you do in the morning. Yeah, that's it. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Just start talking. All simultaneously.
Okay, wake up, going to the shower, do my yoga, do my breathing exercise
In the
routine.
morning, I usually wake up around 7:30 because
to do journaling, reading the books.
I have to bring my daughter to the daycare.
Walking around
And
neighborhood.
I've implemented this new routine that I also try to do a bit of stretching in the morning because I'm
Drink
getting
green
a bit older,
tea.
my body is getting a bit stiff. Important to me is drinking coffee. I usually have yogurt and muesli. Okay, good. So, all right. Step 1 in building a story. What happens? Yeah, what do you do? But as you heard, this wasn't very active and spicy yet. This is just the content of what. In the next round, we're going to focus not only on what you do, but also on how you do this. So if, for example, in the morning, you are taking a shower, yeah, you're not saying, I'm taking a shower in the morning, but you say, oh, I really enjoy how the warm water is running over my face and it's slowly waking me up. And I take this new shower gel I bought yesterday. I open it up and I smell it. Ah, mango. And it reminds me of the last summer holiday we had, and we were on the beach and I was drinking this mango cocktail and it just brings me back to this holiday. But then I remember, no, I have to wake up, I have to go to work, you know, and then I hear from the kitchen this noise. It's the sound of coffee beans being grounded. And I love my first coffee in the morning. Do you know this taste, this bittersweet sensation of your first coffee in the morning? I really love it. Okay, so the assignment is to you, and try to do it just simultaneously. If you all speak simultaneously, it's not so scary. Then if everybody just speaking, because you will hear the tone changed completely. Yeah. If we start talking now, instead of the first monotone going through the facts, and now start describing it with senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you taste? And describe why you like your morning routine so much. That's the focus of this round. So you choose the positive perspective on your morning routine and you share with us why you like it so much by describing it instead of just saying what you do. Here we go. Let's go all simultaneously, then it's not so scary for the first one to start. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so when I wake up,
waking up, wondering what time it is.
Yeah, I look at my clock and
checking my phone.
I often wake up a bit earlier than my alarm, so I know that I can
Come on, people, put on your microphone so Josie is not alone. Help her a bit.
Yeah. And I like
turning
that
around, closing my eyes
When
again,
I wake up, I like
snoozing.
the morning started. My
I really
routine
like
is
making my
waking up
green tea.
late again, panicking,
then
taking
do
a
my
shower.
Makes me
breathing
feel
exercise
energized.
routine and continue with
And
some
my big bowl of oats
yoga
with
activities,
fruits,
stretching my body, do powerful
and I
exercise,
like having breakfast with my family.
continue
It's
in
really
my
nice to
shower,
be together
take
before
cold
work.
showers. I like really cold
Okay,
showers. It
very
helps.
good. Thank you. Super. Great. Great. So, although it feels a bit scary, I have the feeling it's okay. You already hear more intonation in the story, right? There's more dynamics. It's not just a list of facts, but it's connected to an image or it's connected to a feeling. And this activating your imagination as a storyteller, as a presenter, this is a very powerful tool because you can then also activate the imagination of your audience. And by that, you turn them into active listeners automatically, because we as human beings, we can see things, hear things, feel things, smell things, taste things that are not really there through the power of imagination. So when you prepare for a presentation, don't just think, what am I going to say? Also think, is there a story to this? Is there an example? And how does it look there? Take people towards a situation. That is also why I asked in the second question, Josie, do you remember the moment when your brother gave it to you? Yeah, taking towards one moment, specific moment in time, is where stories appear. You get away from the general abstract level towards a concrete, specific example. And this is a very powerful tool. And that's why storytelling works so well, because we get clear, concrete examples, but also we get emotional connected to what somebody's saying. And that's, we are human beings. We communicate through emotions. And it doesn't matter if it's a factual business presentation, there's always a reason why you share it. And there's always an example to give of the fact that you're sharing. And if you use this in your presentations, you will activate your audience immediately. Do you dare to do one round of a negative morning routine, or do you say, we don't feel like participating, let's skip it, go to the next part? Do it?
Go for it.
Do it. All right. So, okay, so last round of the morning routine. So, because we share positive messages, but sometimes we share negative messages. The same thing occurs, yeah? It is my morning, it's the same routine, but this time I'm in my bed and I really don't feel like getting out. My bed is so nice and warm and I want to roll over 3 more times, but I know if I'm gonna get out, the floor, you cannot imagine it now with 32 degrees, but I live ground floor, and ground floor, it is cold. Always. Doesn't matter how hot it is outside, inside my house, it is cold. And I get out of the bed and my bare feet touch the floor and the muscles cramp together, you know, and this tension shoots into my body. It even shoots into my neck. And if I have a stiff neck, it sometimes develops this migraine. Do you know the feeling of a migraine, that everything is tense and your shoulders are tense and even your head gets tense, and sometimes even my sight gets narrow and I cannot really see, I cannot really respond, and my head is full of clouds. And this morning it was like this. It was such a shitty morning. All right. That's the exercise. Describe a shitty morning with negative feelings and negative emotions. And you're allowed to swear. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
When my toddlers, my 3-year-old
So
twins come
today
in
I
and
was
shout at
my
me
one
with
of
joy.
my important
Get out of
meeting.
bed.
I was feeling shitty. Also all day because of the weather, hot weather. I have headache.
I don't want to get up. I just want to
couldn't
sit.
do it.
Just
Just needed it.
And feel nervous because of this exercise. It's a little bit annoying me.
I try to
I
get
feel
up.
really strange doing this.
Curtain, it was dark and
Just pressing.
terrible day ahead.
Time in bed.
Especially when we continue talking about negative
Okay, very
side.
good. Super.
How much is
Thank you
morning?
so much. Really cool. Okay. Really good. So, it's not necessary to always have a super positive vibe or a super positive feeling if you want to share a message. Sometimes it is important to say, hey, this sucks, people. This is not going well. And also then you need to show that this matters to you. Yeah. So dynamic appears when we are able to switch between different colors. I often work with startups. They build their pitch. And in a pitch structure, you start with a problem. You first tell a story about a problem, something that is going wrong. And you need to make sure this problem needs a solution. And for that, you need to connect to this problem, make people feel, hey, this problem needs a solution. And then the sun rises and you go towards your solution. And you say, but we have a solution for this problem and we can help you. And there you go up and you present hope and positive emotions. And the ability to be able to show darker colors and brighter colors, that's where paintings appear. For example, the background of Ike you see this beautiful background. It has darker colors and brighter colors. And this contrast creates that it's interesting. So dare to go deeper into every emotion that you want to bring across. Yeah, for example, if I'm talking about numbers, I'm talking about 20%. Yeah, 20%. 20% doesn't say anything at all. It just says 20%. But then I say, it's only 20%. Then the message is, it is not enough. 20% is a bad thing. But I can say, hey, we've grown 20%. Then it's a good thing. So the message is not 20%. It is my interpretation of this 20%. I show this. That's where you become active, but you also activate your listeners into your stories. All right. Let me check my my schedule for today. So we talked about activating yourself physically, yeah, how to become active on a situation, how to connect yourself emotionally to your message, very important, and how to share, how to activate your imagination. This is something you can train, yeah, to think more in images, start to communicate more in images, more in feelings, more in sounds, more with the senses. So if somebody asks you, how was your weekend? You can say nice, or you can share maybe a story or a moment with a visual description of what you have experienced. And you can really start to train this, and this can be super powerful within all your communication and presentations. What is important is that you, as a presenter, start to stop focusing on going through your content yourself, but you need to become the guide of your audience through your content. And this is a switch for many people in all my workshops and trainings, because we often focus, okay, I have this to say, I go through all my facts, and then I've said it. But your job is actually to take your audience through this content that you have prepared, through this story that you have prepared. And for that, it is really important to actively keep on checking in with your audience, if they are still following, if they got what you say. So I work a lot with people on building in breaks in their communication. And one of the exercises that I do is that people need to say, got it, after every sentence. So I give you a small presentation, and it's about hand gestures. Got it? Hands can be very powerful tools to communicate what you have to say. Got it? Not only by showing what you do, but also by choosing what to emphasize in your sentence. Got it? So this is the first step in the exercise. Literally ask, got it, between every sentence. Next step is to do the same, but now you leave out the loud got it, you just think it. I want to speak with you about hand gestures. Hands are a very powerful instrument to underline what you are saying. Not only by visualizing it, but also by emphasizing the words that are important. So you hear I build in this checking in, this moment of got it, which gives you the assignment to process what I said. This is, again, something that is a bit easier in real life, so to say, not online, on-site presentations, because you have the confirmation moments with your audience. Online, you need to work even harder for this got it moments, to really give people time to process what you said. Actively build in these breaks. And this is a bit more, it's the same with the eye contact in the camera. This is a bit more unnatural online, because you don't get this confirmation that people got it, which you get when you are face to face with someone. So you need to actively look for it. And this takes a bit of courage, because the silence for you can feel 5 hours, although it's not even a second, you know? So dare to use the power of silence is something that it's very good to train, because that's where people start to process what you have said. If you write a text, you always do this. Yeah, you have a title, You have a white line, you have a block of information, there's a white line, a block of information. But somehow when we speak, we want to connect everything because silence is scary, but silence is super, super powerful. Silence creates importance immediately. The more I dare to use breaks, the stronger my message gets. All I do is take a bit more breaks between the words, and all of a sudden it becomes a super important message. So this is something I would like to say to you. Online, you need to work for that even harder because it doesn't come naturally. So that's the checking in between the sentences. But then if you have finished your chapter, it is really good to actively check in with your audience by asking if people are still there. Are you with me? Did you get what I was saying? Yeah. And often what people then do is say, does anybody have a question? Yeah. Do you have a question? And this question for a question doesn't activate people. Actually, a question. I don't know. Is it gonna rain tomorrow? I don't know. What question? You know, it's too big. The question for questions is too big. It's if you want to use the tool of asking questions to keep people engaged, it's way better to ask a specific question. So for example, is there a question you have about the use of silence in presenting? Then you think, the use of silence in presenting, did I hear everything or do I still want to know something about it? Because now you're way more activated to think of a question than when it's just a general feeling. Any questions? Yeah, I think you all know that this is how many people end the message or end the speech. Any questions on this? Yeah, any questions? That's too general, and nobody really asks a question. And then you at lunch you think, I actually had a question, but it doesn't come up in that moment because it's not addressed specifically enough. Especially for online presentations, if it's a longer presentation, I would recommend you build in this moment of asking for specific questions after each chapter. Don't wait towards the end, but after each chapter say, hey, on this topic, is there a question? And do I need to give another example on this? So be very specific in what you ask of the people. That way they keep engaged and keep processing the information that you gave them. Because it's hard for us to concentrate on a very long communication, very much information. Any questions on asking questions? Very good. Yes.
No. Yes, maybe Daria.
Maybe Daria.
Yeah, thank you. Only one question about. Sorry, I wanted to ask quickly and forgot my question.
Yes, just try. Just
try to deliver.
What is it about?
Yeah, I was thinking again about activation and engagement. So to make sure that your audience still listening to you, like I understood this framework when you ask the question after some.
Yes.
You finish here topic about the questions and ask. But again, any questions about questions? Yeah, how else you can be sure that your audience just listening to you, like, and was engaged?
If there's another tool than just asking the question, if there's any question.
Yeah. Thank you for helping me with this.
All good. So what you could, it's a bit like building in a quiz moment. Yeah. So if we talk about asking questions, what would be the 3 main takeaways? Let's all, Ike, what is your main takeaway about asking questions?
My main takeaway is be precise on asking the question, not ask a general question. Still then, I do understand what Daria said. Sometimes it's hard. I don't want to wrap up things. I just want to make sure that the information has been passed.
Yeah.
So I really like your got it thing, which is basically activating people and tell me what you understood in
Yeah.
your own words. This is something that I would, in a smaller, in a group discussion, in a project meeting, in a smaller team, not presenting for 10, 15, 50 people. That is something that I would recommend.
Yeah.
And ask someone, could you repeat what you have like understood and carried away from what I was just saying in your words? Because then I make sure that they don't just listen, but they understand, and I can check whether they have understood what I was presenting the way I wanted them to receive it.
Yeah, that's actually the example that I wanted to give by giving you, by asking you, like, what's your main takeaway? So very good. Glad that you took that out. Yeah, so that's another example that I had to not say, hey, does anybody have a question, but to actively have people formulate a summary or a takeaway. That is something you can, if it's a bigger audience, the simple thing with raising hands. You know, who has the fear of asking questions in the room, that you can, like with lower effort interactions can also build in. If you want to keep continuing, just a simple clear to everyone. Is this step clear? Can I jump to the next chapter? Is already a good thing to check in, right? So then people can say, ah, yes, this was clear. Let's go to the next. And you show the audience that it's important to you that they are involved. Yeah, so it doesn't always have to be questions or answering questions, but just by saying, hey, clear to everyone, can I jump to the next chapter? Shows the audience, hey, it is important to you that I actually listen, that I understand. So it matters. And this already communicates a lot. Yeah? Great. So this is what I mean with being the guide for your audience through your content, right? Showing them the way through your content, what is important, and not so much your assignment. Okay, I have memorized all these facts. I need to deliver these facts as nice as I can, and then your job is done. No, your job is being a guide and interact with your audience on that. This becomes a bit of a problem often when we start presenting with shared screen. Yeah, because what happens when I share my screen, I disappear. Yeah, so for example, I'm going to share this screen with you, and I'm gone. Yeah, you see me very small, and all you see is this screen, and it's hard to create focus. So there's different things to do here. One is to stop using a shared screen and stop using slides in your presentations. Oh, it says my connection is unstable. Am I still here? Okay. So one is to think of, do I really need all the time to share my slides, or can I also jump back and forth between when do I want to focus on me and when do I want it on my slides? Good to think of that beforehand, because people don't see you anymore as clearly. They stop focusing on you. They start just to see your slides, and it's hard to remain their focus. It's hard to keep steering their focus. So think of that very, very closely. Do you really need the slides? And if you do they have to be on all the time, or can you also switch? Then when you decide you need slides, there's a cool tool you could use to create more focus. And it's called Annotate. And what I can do is I can say, today we talk about speaking with confidence, and it's about theatrical training. Yeah, so we speak in public. Public is what I'm focusing on today, how to be more public. So it's all about coaching. I don't know. Hey, this is this guy. Look how handsome he is. No, just kidding. So this is a cool tool that helps creating focus within your slides. I don't know if you have used it before, but by this, again, you don't just pull up all the information in people, but you can steer their focus. Hey, now I want you to look at here. Now I want you to look at this. And then you also become more this guide. It's even possible for others also, for your listeners also, to join you, and that they can say, hey, but let's focus a bit more on bullet point 1, and they can also point it out. So you become more of a co-worker with your audience. A tool you could think of when you need to work with slides to create more focus. When presenting with slides, I'm a big fan of having not so much information on your slide and the most information from you as a presenter, but I know in a lot of companies you work with data-driven slides and you cannot work around it. Then this tool to highlight, to circle, to underline can be very, very powerful. So people know, this number I want you to look at, the rest you can ignore. And in real life situation, it will be a laser pointer or something like this. But this is the cool thing on online, you could use it. Another, what I do when I spend more time with people online is I try to switch dynamics. Yeah, so there's moments where I speak, there's moments where we do an exercise, there's moments when there's a video, there's moments when there's slides, so that you really change dynamics, because then it's easier for people to come back to you and relate to what you're saying again. And one tool that's very simple is the breakout room tool, which we're going to use now. What I'm going to do is put you into a breakout room where you get 2 minutes. And my assignment to you is to think of one very important question you have for me about active communication online that I haven't answered to you yet. So I create 3 rooms, assign automatically, and I set the time for 2 minutes, and then you will be pulled back. All right. See you in 2 minutes. All right. So this breakout rooms made a lot of people leave the webinar, which is also interesting. They didn't want to become active. But as said, change dynamics. A breakout rooms is a cool tool because all of a sudden you're in a smaller group. You have another way of being active. So room 1 was Janina und Radoslava. What was your the question?
Well, what was the question? What was the assignment you gave
We
us?
missed the assignment.
Was I unclear? Okay, very good. So
Oh,
how
no,
can
we
you...
were like both distracted, which was funny.
I had to briefly speak to my husband because he's going to pick up the kids, so I didn't hear the question. That's why I turned my camera off. And yeah, so sorry.
So before you put people into a breakout room, check if the assignment is clear. Very
Yes.
important. Good example here. Really important. Like always do that, because I sometimes move a bit too fast and then it becomes a problem. So the question was, the assignment was to together formulate one important question that's still open to you if you think of activity in online communication.
Actually, we did have a chat,
Very
and
good.
we were talking about like being nervous at the beginning of a presentation and like how to overcome that, even if you're like really well prepared.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can still be nervous, and it's like techniques for this.
Yeah. So so one thing is check your body. Where is tension building up? Because nervousness builds up tension in the body, and we tend to tense up. From the example, it's in the shoulders or the neck. And before you go into that meeting or in that presentation, physically relax there. It sounds so simple, but by getting rid of this tension, it already opens up more space, more room for thought, because your brain goes into fight, flight, freeze mode. It freezes, and you're not able to process. You can think as hard as you can, but nothing's happening because it is in this mode. So you need to get out of this mode first, and you can sometimes do that by physically relaxing where it is building up the tension. That is one physical trick. The other thing is, be nervous. And it sounds simple, but it's hard, but be okay with being nervous. Being nervous becomes a problem if you want to hide it. If you're afraid that people see that you're nervous, then it becomes a problem. But if you say, I'm nervous, I'm excited, my body is giving me adrenaline, great, so it means it's important to me. Nice, let's do it. It feels a bit like a mind trick, but it does work to look at nervousness differently, not see it as a big issue, but see it as something that's happening in your body, and that it's okay to be. It's not your job to not be nervous. It's your job to deliver your message and show your opinion and show that you care. Another thing is, join my workshops, join my courses, have more knowledge of what it does mean to give a good presentation, because this, of course, also really helps to feel that you're better prepared, that you're weaponed for this situation. Also makes it less of a problem. But it is something you need to build over time. You're not agreeing, Radoslava.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, for instance, for me, it happens mostly when I know it's really, really important.
Yeah.
And then I mean, like, I present much better when I don't care, kind of, like, you know.
Yeah.
Then yes, I mean, I had one situation where I tried all the tricks and then nothing helped, and you know, it was super, like, my voice was fully like giving it off. Yeah, so yeah.
Of course, when it really matters, it is more scary, you know, there's more depending on it. You want to do well, so there's more pressure on it, and that's why there's more nervousness. Of course. But if you so what is a good thing is to tell yourself it's not your job to give a perfect presentation. It is your job to share your message, show your opinion, show that you care, keep the others following. So what is the assignment that you're giving yourself in this tense situation? And it helps to have clearer, active suggestions for yourself. To say, hey, what I'm going to do in this presentation is I'm going to have an active body position. I'm going to show that I care. I'm going to do this, so you know what the actions are that you're going to take, instead of I'm going to have to give this perfect presentation. But what is that? What are the smaller steps within this assignment for yourself? This helps. And of course, then training and doing it more often and building up positive experiences. But still, sometimes a lot depending on it.
Yeah, but sometimes people also say, like, if you exercise the same presentation, but for me, for instance, it doesn't really help.
It depends on how you practice.
Yeah, loud or whatever, like, but then it's like by heart, that's how it feels to me, then,
No. Yeah, but that's not what I mean. And by preparing yourself, it doesn't mean you have to learn what you say by heart. That's not the best way to prepare, because then when you're presenting, you're focusing on doing what you have prepared. Yeah, and you're not focusing on connecting with the audience anymore, delivering what you have to say. So how do you actually prepare for a presentation? That is something that's really important to learn, because we don't, we learn content by heart. That's how you prepare for a presentation, but it's not. You have to learn by heart, what is my message? Why am I saying this? What is my structure? What are the examples that I'm going to give? And then you feel very secure within the structure you have built, but you can communicate completely free. So that's a different way of preparing. Still skeptic.
Okay, this was interesting. This was new.
Good. Thank you for this question. It is a big topic in all my coachings and workshops. Anxiety, nervousness, how to deal with it. And I wish I would have one button to take it away. There's none. Yeah, but there are ways to differently and better prepare yourself for these kinds of situations. And then nervousness, it becomes less of a freezing thing, less of a blocker, but still something that is still there, but something that you can work with. I think that's the difference.
Thank
you.
So
I said that the webinar would go until 4. So I'm completely open to join longer. But for the ones that have to leave, I would like to share a link with you. It is a link to schedule a meeting with me if you're interested in working on a one-on-one situation. We can dive deeper in your wishes and needs for presenting and talking, or for you or for your team or for your company. So I'm happy to provide that, just to share that. And then we can now continue with room 2, Dario and Stelios. Was there something you came up with that you wanted to ask?
Yeah, I just waiting. Maybe Stelios would like to start.
Maybe not. Stelios. Okay, then it's Dario.
I will proceed. Stelios told me that he have not very good connection. So
all right.
The first things, I also wanted to highlight that we also struggling a little bit with the task, what exactly we have to do. So
I was too fast. I'm sorry.
So we just proceed like we feeling. So Stella shared with me that for him everything clear so far. Very good structured webinar. My question maybe to you, it's again, I'm still have this question in my head about engagement, not about like activating and tools how to activate, but how to make sure during your meetings or presentation, or I don't know, also webinar, about engagement, how to make sure that people on these small windows, online windows, really listening to you. How to make sure. And yes, of course, you can use some tools in the end, like how do you understand me, and can you please repeat, sum up, whatever. But it's loss of time sometimes, if you have limited time doing the work, like business meetings, and we are all doing this speed time, So how in the beginning I could, what I can use in the beginning to make sure that people who join, that really they understood why they joining, and I can work with them. So my question maybe about engagement still. Yes, I can.
And you mean, especially from the beginning, how to use an opener that people are really with you, or? How
to from the beginning make sure not to be on this rush mood, because you have limited time. For example, only 1 hour business meeting to deliver the information, but make sure that you are not only talking here, blah blah blah, 20% and so on, but make sure that people who join, they're consciously understood why they're joining, or that they need to proceed this information, and how I can be turn on the smooth about conscious.
I think it really depends on the setting. How much people are there in the room? Yeah, what is their role? What do you want from them? Is it just for you delivering a message, or do you need information from each one of them? So to have clear for yourself as a host or as a presenter, what do you actually need from your audience? How much participation do you need? Yeah, maybe it's not so necessary for them to be actively involved. Maybe it is this time you giving information, or is it you collecting information? So what is your goal of this presentation? And from that, as a start, you choose what format fits this goal. And what is important is that you always, whatever format you choose, keep communicating with all participants why you choose to do this. So if you ask a question, okay, why are you asking this question? If you give them an assignment, explain before or after. Sometimes it's also good to do it after to, you know, activate them differently. Communicate why. Because if people need to participate, but they don't know why, you get a bit distance, you get skeptic, you feel, I don't want this. And communicating to the audience why you're actually doing what you're doing is very, very helpful. But there's so many different settings and so many different tools to use for each setting, so I find it hard to give you one thing to do at every meeting or every setting. You know, it depends really. But to think of what do I actually want from my audience, or what I want them to have from me, is a good place to start. Often we start with what. Yeah, what am I sharing, or what is the topic? No, but actually, what do I need? What do they need? What can I give? What do I want to get? Maybe this is helpful. Okay, thank you. Nancy.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Finally, I'm like all this stress aspect and preparing or presenting something is something I'm dealing with and trying to teach to my fellow employees. So I'm all for it. It is indeed okay, in my opinion, to also say, hey, I'm nervous today. Can you help me making this awesome? So actually taking everybody into account to feel responsible to have a good time. Because even then it's I don't know, I have that mindset, like I don't want to be on this earth and have a bad time. So if you remind other people that they technically could have a good time too, despite you being nervous, that's helpful in my opinion. Yeah. Of course, right now it happened too. I'm sitting here trying to work 3 positions. So you have to batch out, and you do that with the least amount of disturbance for those who are presenting or helping them along. In being like, okay, let me take care of that, so you can have free roaming. So I'm a fan of co-piloting too, when you're presenting something. And that takes a lot of trust, but also a lot of communication ahead.
So did you have someone next to you helping you with other issues you've been when presenting? Yeah. That's
always.
I think good advice. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, always write an agenda. So I have a main overview of what I want to do. Also write down what my goal is, what the content is that everybody should take out. And then I basically do the whole switch of how they learn it. But I share that with somebody else who's dear to me, who then also can kind of like help me when I'm flustered, or when I have an emergency that interrupts me. So that is actually always kind of like a double floor.
Yeah. So what I hear you saying is that you want to create a safe space within this tense situation. I think this is a very cool way to go.
Yeah, for everybody who's attending as well as for myself.
Yeah. Nice approach. Thank you for sharing that. I also hear you saying that sometimes it's okay to share that you're nervous. I totally agree. I think it's important. What often happens is that people start to apologize for it.
Yeah, don't.
That's what that's not that's not what you should do. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a life lesson. Do not ever apologize for the feelings you're feeling.
No,
because they're just
you can share them and open them up, but no need to apologize.
No devalidation for yourself. Thank you, because it takes your credibility away.
Definitely. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. All right, that's it from my side. If there are no further things you want to get rid of or ask me, thank you so much for joining me all the way to the end on this. I'm sweating so hard. It's like amazing. But thank you so much. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for your participation and openness and work with me. And as said, feel free to schedule a meeting with me. I would be happy to share more insights, work with you further, and hope to see you at one of my next webinars. Really cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Now go and eat ice cream.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.